On today's episode, we will be focusing on issues of people living with disabilities, an aging population in Nigeria, and the strategic efforts of the government to improve their lot. The SDGs in Goals 4, 5, 8, 10, 11, 16, and 17 specifically seeks inclusiveness and requires that none of them is left behind. In the course of the program, we will bring you reports and interviews on ways to avoid discrimination against that segment of the population.
People living with disabilities are described as those with long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairments, which hinder their complete and effective participation in the society on equal basis with others. It has been estimated that 15% of the world's population, around 1 billion people, live with a disability, according to the World Report on Disability published in 2011. People living with disabilities are believed to be one of the most excluded group of persons. For example, they are at a disadvantage in terms of benefiting from socio-economic and political opportunities. Some of the odds against people with disabilities include difficulties in accessing healthcare, education, discrimination in employment, which further makes it difficult for them to lift themselves out of poverty. World leaders saw the need to tackle this at the United Nations General Assembly in 2015 when they adopted the 2030 Agenda of the Sustainable Development, including disability and reduction of inequality in the SDGs. This act gives hope that people living with disabilities will not be left behind in efforts to transform the world. The words disabilities or persons with disabilities are specifically mentioned 11 times in the Resolution 70/1, as well as in targets of Goals 4, 8, 10, 11, and 17. Of course, the overarching aim of the agenda is to leave no one behind, meaning everyone must be included as active participants in the journey to 2030 without regards to race, age, or other peculiar circumstances or station of life. The President formally expressed his commitment to the inclusiveness with the appointment of Dr. Samuel Inalegu Ode Ankali as his Senior Special Assistant on Disability, with a mandate to assist on all issues of disability, take care of the welfare and well-being of people with disabilities, mobilize them for national development, and protect, promote their rights and privileges in governance and the society. Another major effort of the President in this regard was the signing of the National Senior Citizens Center Act 2018, which allows the establishment of the National Senior Citizens Center by institutions and 3 tiers of government in the country to allow for proper care, training, orientation and reorientation, and care for senior citizens in Nigeria. Also, the National Assembly has various bills under consideration to address various areas of disability. The lawmakers have already passed the Disability Bill, which many have described as a potential game changer for people living with disabilities in Nigeria. At the subnational level, states across the country are also introducing policies and initiatives designed to ensure greater inclusiveness for people living with disabilities. President Buhari also recently followed this up by commissioning a comprehensive special school in Lafia, Nasarawa State, which facilitates to cater for the needs of the blind, deaf, crippled, and those with Down syndrome from kindergarten. The project was jointly executed between the Universal Basic Education (UBE) and the Nasarawa State government at a cost of 2 billion naira.
This school will cater for the deaf, the blind, and other physically challenged. Indeed, this is a clear example of our inclusive policy where no child, man or woman, will be left behind.